sort of.
What you want to be true rather than what is true.
I took one dark arts overall, so it's like I've never really looked at it.
Okay, let's see.
You're a
Let's see.
fact guy. You're a factual
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
I've always kind of battled the dark arts overall, so it's like I've never really looked at a ton of the facts. It's always been this more ethereal sort of.
What you want to
I didn't know who Theo Von was till very recently. I mean, he's an interesting character for sure.
rather than what is true.
I took one class out in Arizona at pretty high altitude.
You know what they say? That if you learn something under certain psychomotor conditions, that you recover it better under those same conditions.
Oh, wow.
Like if you get high and you learn something,
Mhm.
if you get high again later, you remember that better because you match the mental states.
Oh.
Dude, that is very true because Joel is so much better at PVMing when he's high. So he must have learned when he was high. 100%
Say
true.
aliens show up, right? Is there a society or culture or ethnicity that's best evolved, you think, to handle it?
Scientists.
Really?
Scientists. If an alien
But
came
scientists-
here, go ahead, Theo. If an alien landed right in front of us and said to you, Theo, take me to your leader, are you going to take him to the White House?
No. I wouldn't. No, that sounds like a horrible idea. Take me to your leader. Take him to Joe Biden, man? No way.
No, of course not. Are you taking him to Congress? No.
That's a great question.
That's
Who
my
would you take
point.
him to?
You would take him to. Well, I'm not going to speak for you.
Where would you take him to? I don't know, man. I would. I guess, yeah. Who would be the best scientist to take him to if it's a scientist?
But I happen to be a scientist. But if I were not a scientist, I would take him to a scientist.
You would?
Yes, a biologist or a physicist. Somebody who's, by the way,
Say science is closed that day.
Science is closed
Come back
that day.
out to lunch. Come back tomorrow.
What would you
Open
do?
at 9 in the morning.
Come
So
on.
no,
Even science has a sandwich, bro. Where would you take him?
you speak of science like it's the one dude behind the counter, behind the lunch counter.
Hey, I'm just saying.
No,
Where would you take him then?
no. Wait, let me finish what happens if you're trying to talk to him.
Okay.
My point is, mathematics.
I'd give him a treat first, I think. You'd have to,
A
right?
treat. They're not a pet. They just
You're like,
flew
hey,
here
man.
and ship way more.
Hey, you want some Hershey's candy real quick?
Advanced than anything we've ever conceived. You go, here's a chew toy. That's just not gonna do.
I'm just saying, you got to give him a little.
You'll be the first human zapped by an alien laser.
Oh,
At that point,
You hit him with that Snicker? Dog, you good.
they're your friend forever.
You good forever, bro. He'd be pulling on your
This is not
pant leg.
ET.
I don't know, man. I would get Kit Kat would probably be the best candy to give if we're giving something. Not, I mean, Snickers are good, but personally, Kit Kat best candy.
Where they're
around.
eating, what do they eat? The Reese's Pieces?
I
No.
did- Oh, yeah, dude. Reese's. Bro, he'd bring his friends next week.
No, you give a Reese's to an alien, it's going to get diabetes. How do you know it can handle it?
That's
This
true.
is some pretty. this-
That's a good point, bro. Now he's stuck.
That's true.
He becomes all lazy and stuff when you start getting him acclimated.
Gets fat and lazy on Earth.
That has to be a movie, right? Was there a movie like that?
I don't know.
It probably is.
Okay, so he's here. What do you do?
What I'm saying is,
A
that
good movie. Plot.
I have a periodic table of elements
Mhm.
that are elements across the universe. I know mathematics and laws of physics that apply across the universe. They got here from across the universe.
So those laws would be totally the same on their planet.
Totally the same. So if you're going to start with a language, like, oh, this is a cup and this is a fork and this is it's like, this is our elements and this is, we call this aluminum,
Ah.
we call this, and they will know, and they start to develop a common vocabulary so that you can communicate with them. Because they're not going to speak English, nor French, nor Mandarin, none of the above.
Yeah.
That being said, if they send radio signals here, the largest radio telescope is going to pick it up first. And you know where that is?
Hold on.
Where is that?
Arizona.
It was once on American soil in Puerto Rico, the Arecibo telescope, but that collapsed out of disuse. And the largest radio telescope in the world is in China.
Wow.
So the first humans that will hear the signals sent by aliens will be Chinese astrophysicists. But
Interesting.
we're talking about if they visit. So if they visit, I'm saying bring them to a scientist. The scientist will know how to think about and pose questions to them.
So the Chinese.
I mean, that'd be a good.
know that, right?
No, to hear a signal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That comes over.
Do you think that they would tell the rest of us or not?
Probably not initially, but eventually.
Bro.
No. The thing is, why should
Nah, they wouldn't. That's what Area 51 is, right? They got aliens there for the last like 30 years. They're not telling us about it, right?
telescope.
Or so we
telescope's a
think.
mile in circumference.
Or
but
so everybody
get
thinks.
a sense of how big it is. It's called the FAST telescope, 500-meter aperture spherical telescope.
Oh,
That's the
damn.
acronym FAST.
But if they know and they don't tell us, man.
Then they can they can have
Just
a whole
worried about
pact.
that.
And they say we are the chosen ones, and everyone else on Earth.
Oh, what was that movie I was
You're
watching? Or not
right.
movie, TV show. They like took form of humans, and they're like good and bad ones. Did I write it down on Discord? Let me see. Let's see. Must watch. V, yeah, this one. That was pretty good. V. It's old. It's like 2009 or something. But it was a good show. Yeah, 2009. Okay, I wrote it down. Show from 2009 to 2011. It was only 2 seasons, but it's pretty good. V.
Teams to I don't know what they're gonna do. But there it is. We have another image.
Oh, we're fucked. Bro, we are.
We're looking at the.
Wait. I missed a little bit. Let's see. What I miss?
We are the chosen ones, and everyone else on Earth isn't. Send your ray beams to. I don't know what they're gonna do. But there it is. We have another image.
Oh, we're fucked.
That's a huge.
Oh, we are.
We're looking at the image on the screen. I was there, visited that. We filmed there for Cosmos.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Bro, you got to hold on to that footage, bro.
Oh
because
my gosh.
we got to make this. Why don't we have anything like this?
Because we are not. We like to think of ourselves that we're Americans and we over history we've been reactive to challenges from other countries, not proactive.
And what are we now as far as when it comes to challenges from outer space?
We have nothing that rivals that.
Wow.
At all.
Is outer space gay or straight?
Is outer space gay or straight?
What kind of question is that?
Everything we see and measure in space, not only objects, but temperature, size, density, is on a spectrum. So if you're going to say, is the universe gay or straight? I'm going to tell you, whatever the universe is.
Only Theo on, man.
Okay.
In fact, the very word spectrum comes from what happens when you take light and break it up into its colors.
Mm.
We just happen to assign names to the 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. But it's a continuum. We're just being lazy by assigning 7 colors. Our brain doesn't want to see nuance because it's easier for us to think in binary.
So it's.
Are you with me or are you against me? Well, maybe you're somewhere in between. Are you a boy? Are you a girl? Maybe they're expressing themselves somewhere in between. And your brain has a difficult time recognizing a spectrum. And so you're requiring it be into a bin. So there you are, forcing other people to match how you see the world.
Mm.
The world is not going to change to fit your inability to recognize how it's actually manifesting. It's not going to do that. So
it's bi.
no, it's on a continuum.
So it's
Whatever it is, you can say, is the universe sweet or salty? Is the universe, whatever it is, you're asking me, is it this or is it that? That's the binary brain trying to force a continuum into 2 categories.
So it's like Chex Mix.
Except with more objects, more kinds of objects than what you find in Chex. Chex Mix has like 5 things in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, imagine if Chex Mix had everything
Damn.
in a continuum.
And it kept changing.
Now look at how our brain works. We have hurricane strengths, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They measure the wind speed. Do you realize it's a continuum? But we We divided it into 5 categories.
Right.
But it's a continuum. Do you realize you can go from low category 3 to high category 3? And
I've been watching more Neil
Hurricane Irma
deGrasse
is still in
Tyson
category 3.
lately.
1 mile an hour faster, and it's category 4. It's breaking news.
Oh yeah.
Hurricane Irma is now category 4.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's 1 mile an hour faster than it was yesterday.
Yeah. People lied. They said the winds broke in.
Okay, so I'm
I
just
saw the winds making a bowl of cereal. Some guy said.
Wait, what?
That's funny.
That's
So my point
crazy.
is, even with hurricane speed strengths, we force them into categories when it's actually a continuum.
I see. So it's a continuum out there. So because it looks kind of gay, I feel like, but then sometimes it does things that seem really straight. But those are also my definitions of those
Correct.
things.
You're forcing the universe into your 2 categories.
Right. Sometimes I look up at the sky, right? And I'll look up and I feel like, especially if there's stars out there, I'll feel like something's looking back at me. Does that make any sense to you at all?
I once tweeted something like
think
that. I said, sometimes I wonder,
Looking back at you.
as I gaze into the night sky, whether the stars themselves are gazing back at me.
Oh, damn. I didn't realize I sounded so damn bi about it.
And that's when people said, "Are you high, Neil? Put down the joint." Are you? There's a reliable influx of people who are certain.
But sometimes I look up, I feel there's like a thing. I don't know what it is, bro. I don't think it's gay or anything. I think it just feel like the space is looking back at me.
Well,
maybe I'm gay for space, bro.
Well, so we're not likely the only life forms in the universe. There's
we're not.
Very many. Some vast.
We're definitely not the only one, but we're living in a dark hole, man.
More intelligent
So
than we are.
We won't be able to see anybody
Here we're sitting
till we
looking
cross
up into the night sky, countless thousands of stars with binoculars.
Isn't there like a dark hole in like the center of the Milky Way galaxy? So I'm assuming if we go through that, find everybody.
With telescopes, it rises into the billions.
Oh, God.
There are surely civilizations there looking up at their night sky, and they see our star, the sun, as part of some constellation that they identify in their night sky. And there's a Theo Vaughn there looking up, asking, is anyone up there looking down at me? And we get to say, yes, we have your counterpart.
Gotcha.
We got a Theo Vaughn in this galaxy, too.
Most people that could exist mathematically
will never exist.
Wow. So right there, you are a
special, a living entity as there ever was.
Amen.
Be ashamed to die until you have scored some victory for humanity.
Hope you enjoyed that video.